I was having a very interesting conversation with a young woman, and she asked me one of those existential questions. Why are women wired differently from men? Science can go through and deal with a lot of the how, a lot of the sex organs and estrogen, testosterone, so on and so forth. Biology, if you will. Science cannot answer the why. Uh, Many religious groups can claim they have the answer to the why. Depending on which religion you subscribe to, you can adhere to those reasons. I'm only qualified to theorize because there is no hard scientific fact on why women are different or wired differently from men. My theory is that women are wired differently from men, strictly dealing with the biology of childbirth. We know women to be more intuitive and more emotional, whereas men can be more rational and more logical. I don't think the trauma and the pain associated with childbirth or multiple childbirth on a logical level would suit women for reproduction as much as the emotional and the altruistic mind state that the majority of mothers come into right around the time that they come into the realization that they want to have children. I believe that that is the power, or that is the impetus that gives them the strength and the ability to carry through with such a trauma on a biological level. I mean, we can definitely go deeper into other things, but I think my theory would, just trying to be as unemotional as possible, it would have to be a very strong feeling that would overcome the inherent pain and trauma that women have to deal with when they go into labor and go through natural childbirth. Now, this is where jealous, unscrupulous, unreasonable men who like to meddle with the authority that women have in the realm of reproductive power like to come in and mess things up. And this is, another one of those areas of the Bible that I'm going to read. It's Genesis 3:16. And it says, I will make your pains in childbearing very severe. With painful labor you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you. Now you can probably see the look on my face as I'm painfully reading through that. The male chauvinism and the adding of insult to injury that a religious verse like that brings to the situation that I just discussed, where a man who is unable to bear children, obviously, a man who logically would not want to go through that pain, would definitely not repeat that pain. I believe science has this down to a certain level of pain scale where it's above and beyond the amount of pain that any man could bear at any moment to the point that it would kill him. The feeling of the breaking of multiple bones simultaneously, if I'm not mistaken. There's only the power of woman that will allow them to get through that. Man's logic will not put him up to that test, to pass that test repeatedly to the point that people would have brothers and sisters after the first child was given, if it were up to man to feel that pain. We need to get out of this idea that, and not that the question came in this way, but women have the strength that only women can have, and men have the strength that only men can have. We shouldn't cross-contaminate those two or harbor jealousy between them or see one as weaker. That is the area in which we find ourselves being infiltrated by Western European philosophy, a philosophy that says men are greater than women and thereby deserve to rule over them. Um, and you know, as I said, I don't think that's the area the question was coming from, but just in case any of that was in there as to why women are wired differently, in the sense that it might be a negative thing, it's certainly not a negative thing. I don't think we would continue to populate the planet if it wasn't the way it was. So that's my theory.